Welcome back to the channel, guys. Tool reviews, the tools I use. Today I'm going to be levelling out the floor with Sikafloor 125 level. The tools I'm going to be using for this job are a 2-inch scraper, a wire brush with a scraper, a carbide scraper, some safety wear in the form of glasses and a dust mask, and I'm going to be using this cheap heat gun. So the area I'm going to be levelling is this bit here. Where I removed a wall a couple of days ago, what you'll often get when you take a wall out is a slight change of levels. So whereas they put a little bit more screed on that side when it was done and a little bit less here, you just ended up with this slight difference. And it's really apparent when I hold a level over it. You can just see there's probably about 1 centimetre gap under there, and it gets tighter and tighter as we go along, and then it disappears around here. So I'm going to survey the floor just using a level, just to do it in various directions, just to see where I'm at. I've already gauged this, and I've basically figured out that this corner is the little problem. So just where it came around the corner, they just didn't put quite enough screed there. So we're going to fix that today. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove a few of the high points that you can see here, just using a Boxer chisel and a club hammer. Just removing anything that's obviously higher than the rest of the works. There's a bit of a lip here, so I'm just taking a little bit off this edge here. Quick sweep up, and then I'm on to the next stage. So again, using my level, I've just assessed where the high points and the low points are now that I've taken out some of the higher points. And you can see the chalk line that I've made, a little piece of chalk, just to give me a little bit of a guide of where I'm going with the screed. Ultimately, it's a liquid and it will do what it wants and go where it wants, but judging by the levels, I've got a good idea of where it's going. And now for the not so fun part. Because this floor has got paint on it, it's going to affect the key of the screed material. So I've got to get rid of the paint by heating it up and then scraping it off. You can use chemicals, but then it's just another cost, and it's also time consuming. Personally, I like using a heat gun. If you've got it, if you haven't got a heat gun, they're quite cheap. Just go and pick one up. Even this ridiculously cheap one has lasted me a long time. So let's get to it. I promise you that was not set up, guys. This thing literally just broke there and then. I've had it for 10 years. It's had a good life and it's served me well, but it's time to go now. What a shame. So I just got back from Screwfix and I picked up a Titan heat gun. Really cheap brand. I don't use a heat gun often enough to justify buying an expensive one like a DeWalt or something like that. So let me know what you would have done. Would you have gone cheapo again, or would you have spent a little bit more money and got something decent? Anyway, let's go on with some more work. Good selection of heads on it, even comes with its own scraper. Let's see how this thing performs. Alright guys, so I've been scraping for some time now and it's really hard to get off. So I'm just going to change my plans a little bit. Instead, I'm just going to lay the screed over the top of it. I'm confident it's going to hold strong. So because I can't strip it with a stripper, I'm going to use the carbide blade instead. I'm giving it some nice score marks so that I can get to the concrete underneath. Let's get some of this mixed up. Now if I was mixing a lot of this, I'd use my plaster mixer, but instead I'm just going to use a trusty piece of wood. I'm about happy with that consistency there. So to spread it, you can use pretty much anything. I didn't mention it at the start of the video, but I'm going to be using this notch trowel. It's got the flat side and it's got the notch side. So with all the self-leveling slurry down on the floor now, I'm just going to let it harden off just a tiny bit, and then I'm just going to feather it in on the edges, try and make it nice and smooth, make the transition really smooth with the rest of the floor. So I've troweled the edges down a little bit, and I'm just finishing it off with a little bit of tissue. While it's wet, it's nice and easy to work on. I want to try and get it then, but I've got one more trick up my sleeve to blend it in. So this Sikafloor 125 levelling compound will be drying about 2 to 4 hours. But to feather it in nicely to the edges, that's when I can come back with these. These are called rubbing blocks, carborundum stones, and other names as well. But it's basically an abrasive block that I can use just to get around the edges and get a really, really nice finish with the existing floor. I hope this floor levelling video has been of use to you guys. Join me for the next project. I'll see you next time.